Welcome back at kung first time nyo, welcome to his podcast, Conversations on Philippine History, Politics, and Society. We are your hosts. I am Vec Alporja.
I am Joselito Ebro.
And I'm Lee Candelaria. Isa na namang episode ito ng ating season na Bagay-Bagay, Objects of Philippine Life, where we talk about all things iconic to the Filipino experience.
At ngayong araw nga ay pag-uusapan natin yung, very familiar tayo dito kasi ilang beses ba natin tong nilaro, no? Sa kalsada at ginamit na rin natin pang caroling.
Yes.
Ano ba to?
Alam nyo na yan, di ba? Yan yung tansan. Yung maliit na bakal na takip ng mga soft drink bottles at beer bottles. So, marami tayong pag-uusapan tungkol sa kasaysayan ng tansan. Can you imagine? Di ba? At yung wild episode nung 1992 Pepsi number fever scandal. Di ba? Yung dahil sa tansan, may mga riots across the country.
Grabe
So,
lang
pag-usapan
yung
natin yan.
biglang may namatay.
O, nagkarayot, may namatay.
Riot.
Kaya, so, from a simple bottle cap to a national crisis. Pero yung story ng Tansan goes way beyond yung scandal na yan. No? So, yung humble metal disc na ito has been prized toy for many Filipinos. Laruan kaya ng bata ako eh. And ginagamit din yan na pang caroling. That announces the world's longest holiday season. Pasko na sa Pinas. And even yung small commodity in our informal recycling economy, very familiar, I think, lahat ng Pilipino dito.
Yes. So, over the next half hour, we'll trace how this Japanese brand name, Tansan, became a Filipino word. How sidewalk games built entire social systems around bottle caps, and why the shift from glass to plastic bottles signals something deeper about our changing culture. So, let's get started.
Okay. So, yung kwento ng Tansan actually begins with two separate inventions happening almost simultaneously in the 1890s. So, yung una dyan ay yung 1892 when American inventor William Painter patented something he called the crown cork. So, yun yung takip, And at the time, revolutionary ito. Lalo na for the beverage industry, starting at the time. Kasi it was it perfectly sealed carbonation inside bottles. Dahil dun sa corrugated metal design and cork liner.
Yeah. Meanwhile, across the Pacific Ocean in Japan, an Englishman named John Clifford Wilkinson discovered a natural carbonated spring near Kobe. He established then the Tansan Mineral Water Company, taking the Japanese word Tansan. Ang ibig sabihin lang naman ng Tansan ay carbonated or carbonic acid. No? And so itong kanyang sparkling water was sealed using Painter's new crown caps. And it would soon make its way to the Philippines.
So ito ngang Clifford Wilkinson Tansan brand arrived in the Philippines around 1902. So kakasimula lang yan ng American colonial period. And by 1915, Lutz and Zwelig became the sole distributor. At kung familiar yung pangalan ng Zwelig, no? Kasi ito pa rin yung same company na kilala natin as Zwelig Pharma sa kasalukuyan. And the drink became incredibly popular, especially nung pre-war Manila.
Yes, like there were huge billboards advertising Tansan water sa kamay nilaan. At noong mga panahon na to, big deal yun. Ngayon, lahat may billboard na, di ba? Pero dati kapag meron kang malaking billboard, it's something. So, the brand was so successful that competitors tried to use the name Tansan for their own products. Yung argument nila, it was just the Japanese word for soda.
And the court actually ruled in favor of Wilkinson, no? So in a way na protektahan yung Tansan trademark. Kasi nga naman, kung titingnan mo yung issue ng copyright, no, it might be a generic word in Japanese, but for Filipinos, Tansan is Tansan. It's not a Filipino word yet. No? But here's the catch. And I think a very interesting point, no, sa history ng Tansan na ito. While the courts protected the brand name legally, it's the Filipino public that had already started doing something else entirely with that word.
Exactly. Kasi nga yung Tansan was everywhere and these metal crown caps were completely new. Filipinos didn't have a word for them yet. So instead na tawaging mong takip ng bote or creating a new term, people just started calling the caps Tansan. So after the drink, they sealed.
Mas marili sabihin no? Kaysa crown cork.
Oo,
Crown cork.
Akin na yung crowns mo, bro.
Eto na, bro.
Bro, gawa tayong tambourine using crowns, bro.
Patingin nga ng Tansan mo, bro.
So, kumbaga, tulad nung ibang mga produkto na pinag-usapan natin before, yung trademark ng Tansan ay naging generic. Di ba? Like, Xerox, for photocopying, di ba? Or Colgate, sarap ng toothpaste. So, parang gano'n. The Tansan brand was so dominant that its name jumped from the liquid inside the bottle, di ba? To the metal cap. Na ginagamit. So, yung Tansan, di ba? Yun nga, sobrang interesting nun, di ba? Originally, it was referring to the drink. Pero ngayon, pag sabi mong Tansan, yung takip.
Yes. Actually, favorite ko tong lagi akong sinasabi sa mga Japanese friends ko na did you know that there's a few words that enter the language, one of them is Tansan.
Yeah.
And what fascinates me is it's not passive adoption. Kasi the Filipinos actually actively took this foreign commercial term and completely naturalized it into Tagalog. It kind of sounds like a Tagalog word na rin kasi, or Filipino word, Tansan. Parang, in a way, it was severed from its connection to the Japanese language. It lost its association with that specific brand of mineral water and became purely Filipino.
So, it's safe to say na around 1920s, 1930s, kapag may iniinom yung mga Pinoy, at matatawag talaga nila yung mga metal cap as Tansan, no? So, the original Tansan Mineral Water Company probably never imagined na magiging ganito ka-popular, no? At papasok sa Filipino vocabulary yung pangalan ng brand nila.
Yes, and once the word was established, it opened up entirely new cultural possibilities. Kasi ngayon, may tawag na yung mga Pilipino dito sa crown corks ni painter, So, now they had a name for this object. And given that they named it already, they started using it like in different ways, diba? So sa games, and even like the proto-economic system surrounding it, the Tansan had arrived as a uniquely Filipino cultural artifact.
Once the Tansan had a name and was spreading across the archipelago with a growing soda industry and perhaps just also the beer industry, it began accumulating different meanings through each era of Philippine history.
So, yung Tansan, yung trap na yan, talagang, kung tutuusin, it's just, it was just industrial waste. But I could imagine how Filipinos saw it as something that can be repurposed for something else. Mahilig naman tayo kasi sa mga ganyan, di ba? Like, hinayang na hinayang tayong magtapon ng mga bagay because we always use them for something else, di ba? So, by the 1920s and 1930s, children discovered that these metal discs were perfect for games. At yung pinakasikat daw dito ay yung tatsing, kung tawagin.
Yeah, touching.
Yeah, believed
Touching.
to come from the English word touching. Pero syempre, in Tagalog accent, in Filipino accent, touching, di ba?
Paborito kong laro yan dati. Naalala ko, may mga plastic pa ako, puro Tansan yung laman. Bida-bida ako nung bata eh. Laman ng kalsada. Pero sobrang popular nga niya yung touching na yan. Saka, naalala niyo yung Kalog Tansan?
Oh, yeah.
Di ba? Ang galing na nun eh. Yun, ginagamit din namin, nilalaro din namin nun. And minsan, sinasamahan pa namin ng mga text sa kapogs.
Yes.
So, yan.
Yung bang sipa?
Well,
Tansan ba yung nasa dulo nun? Tansan yun, no?
Oo, binubutas. Well, actually, yung sipa, ang usually gawa yan sa, I think parang hindi siya bearing eh. Yung parang bilog na may butas. So actually yung Tansan, pwedeng i-repackage siya. Siguro 5 pirasong Tansan, bubutasan sa gitna para lang bumigat siya. So pwede. Oo.
Pero usually yung gumagamit ng Tansan sa sipa ay mga bata. Pero kapag medyo may hierarchy, medyo skilled ka na, doon ka na sa mas mabigat na
Hindi
bata.
na tama sa ulo mo, no? Kasi yan yung dati, pinagagawa na akong laruin yung sipa kasi masakit daw yan pag tumama sa ulo ko.
Pero tong touching to, no, balik tayo dun sa touching. Naalala ko nilalaro namin to. Kumbaga, maglalagay ka ng Tansan din, or hindi man Tansan, ang naalala kong mga nilalaro namin, parang yung mga maliliit na mga action figures na gawa sa goma. Ilalagay mo yan sa loob ng, or yung mismong Tansan, ilalagay mo sa loob ng parang box na dinraw mo sa road. Tapos, competitors kayo, you will stand from a distance and then you will use a pamato. Yung pamato, it's just a piece of stone, no? Parang bato lang yun eh. or pwede rin kung ano yung object na ibabato mo para lang lumabas doon yung kapag lumabas sa'yo na yun, parang gano'n.
Yes.
So itong pamato, yung striker, it actually became some kind of prized possession, no? Yung ibang bata, mga flat stones, halimbawa yung others naman would use bottle caps din, no? So in a way, the quality of your pamato could determine your success in the game of touching.
Yung iba nilalagay ng thumbtacks para mas smooth yung niya. Pagtama doon sa mga tansa na yun.
Mga
Doon sa
expert.
pamato nila. Well, naalala ko lang yung mga ginagawa namin nung
Pero yung,
mga-
usually yung ginagawang pamato, yung mga flat nga. Na, kasi hindi ko,
Yeah,
kasi
flat, oo.
kahit sa piko, halimbawa, hopscotch sa
Oo,
mga
yeah.
Inglesera
Yes,
dyan.
oo, sa piko.
Yung flat din, kasi kapag yung hindi flat, gugulong Di ba?
Oo, yes.
And I think kaya sikat yung touching na laro ay very accessible. Diba? Wala kang kailangan masyado. At kaya mo siyang laruin everywhere. So, during the Commonwealth period in the 30s, through the Japanese occupation, to the post-war years, Filipino children played this game with, for virtually nothing. Walang gastos. Tapos yung rules, simple lang din. I mean, complex siya enough na maging na interesting, pero simple lang para, na magagets agad ng mga bata.
Ayan. So the Japanese occupation from 1942 to 1945 intensified yung culture ng reuse and intensified the culture of reuse and resourcefulness. So with imports cut off and resources scarce, every tansan became more valuable.
Yeah, and after independence in 46, no, as the Philippine economy slowly rebuilt, soft drink consumption increased. Malamang dumami rin ang mga manginginom, no? So more bottles meant more tansan, and the games evolved. Kids started using them as pieces for dama. Alam niyo ba yung dama? Parang chess natin to
Checkers.
Parang checkers,
Ah,
no? Actually, meron pa nga dating sa
checkers.
school yung damath. Hate na hate ko yun
Dama. Hindi
Oo,
ko
pero-
hindi ko naintindihan.
Hindi ko rin, hanggang ngayon, hindi ko naintindihan yun di ba? History majors tayo no?
Dama.
Pag matalino ka din.
Damath. Pero naalala ko gawa nga sa tansan yung mga pieces nun di ba? Ang idea lang sa dama na to is you draw a board on cardboard, like a checkers board, no? And you use tansan face up for one player and tansan face down for the other player. So, useful siya kasi magkaiba nga naman yung dalawang faces ng tansan.
Yeah, so nung dumami yung mga soda brands, 'di ba? So meron ng Coke, Coca-Cola, Sprite, Sarsi, Royal True Orange, 'di ba? So kumbaga it added another layer to this culture kasi ngayon kino-collect na.
Oo.
So collecting tansan. So mas rare at mas maganda pa yung quality, mas trip nila. So parang baseball cards.
Oo. Ako nung dati nung bata ako, gusto ko yung mga Fanta. Hindi kasi masyadong uso yung Fanta, pero yung Fanta kasi iba-ibang flavors, iba-ibang kulay siya. So, syempre sobrang daming parang San Miguel beer na tansa na pula, 'di ba? Or Colt 45, manginginom yung tatay ko So pag may makikita akong parang Royal True Orange na kulay orange, parang wow, medyo rare to So makikipag-exchange pa ako yan sa mga kalaro ko ng bata ako. Di ba? Alam niyo, ginagawa niyo ba yun?
Oo, ginagawa. May sukli pa yan naalala ko Parang yung iba worth, yung certain tansan worth 10, yung isa worth 20.
Kapag nakipag-trade ka.
What currency
Hindi ko
na
alam
din siya. Ang galing.
Kung sino nagre-regulate doon, pero nag-work sa amin.
So dito pa lang nagsisimula ang ang corruption.
Kumikickback sa tansan.
Enjoy yan. So yun naman, during Marcos era, particularly nung 70s at 80s, yung mga Tansan games remained one of the few free entertainments na available sa kabataan. Kasi while the regime promoted grand cultural infrastructures like centers for international events, yung mga bata sa barrios and urban poor communities continued their sidewalk championships with bottle caps.
And even after the People Power Revolution in '86, it didn't really change the Tansan's role in children's lives. But the economic liberalization that followed began flooding the market with new soft drink brands and new beer brands as well. So suddenly there were more varieties of Tansan than ever before. So may Sprite, 7-Up, Mountain Dew, Mirinda, no, Fanta, and each of these had different colors and logos.
Yes. At itong variety ng brands would actually become tragically important in 1992. So, ang nangyari dito, Pepsi launched their Number Fever promotion. So, they print numbers inside the caps, the Tansan. And then they, kumbaga, they transformed the Tansan from a toy into a lottery ticket. So, kumbaga, every cap potentially held a fortune.
Simple lang yung rules, no? Numbers from 001 to 999 were printed inside caps of Pepsi products. So, kada gabi, may mga winning numbers na i-announce sa television. And yung price before ay 1 million pesos. So, about 50 years of income yan nung average worker dati.
Yeah, pero kay Sara Duterte, this is just, like 1 million is nothing for like 125 million you could spend for 11 days.
So,
no? Or for Nepo babies, yung 1 million, wala ang maliit na bagay yan. Ano? Pero for the regular person, it was such a, wow. Parang bigla na ngayon na kapag nanalo ka niyan. Siyempre, weird lang sa akin na nauso yung ganitong mga parang mga raffle using caps. Pero kasi the way Filipinos use bottle caps, pag bumili ka ng bottle caps sa tindahan, bubuksan na yun eh. Pwedeng kunin ng tindero yung cup
So, marami
mo
siyang
eh.
entries,
Diba?
more chances of winning. Yes.
Yeah. Oo. O meron pa yun dati, yung caps mismo, ilalagay mo sa sobre, tapos imi-mail mo. May mga ganyan pa dati. Anyway, yeah, so because of this, lumaki yung sales ng Pepsi. Alam naman natin mas popular ang Coke sa Pepsi, no, sa Pilipinas. Pero because of this promotion, Pepsi's market share jumped from like 19% to 25%. But on May 25, 1992, when the number 349 was announced, a computer glitch had caused 800,000 caps to be printed with that number instead of just 2. No? Dapat dalawa lang yung winner, pero 800 caps yung na-produce na 349. So you can imagine the next morning, libo-libo mga Pilipino ang akala nila milyonaryo na sila.
Grabe yun, no? Can you imagine? Like, computer glitch that, produced hundreds of tons of this number. Tapos yun yung nabunot. Like, how bad was this glitch? Like, paano kung number 549 yung nabunot? Will it be the same? Like, it's messed up. But it's also very suspicious, very fishy. Diba? So, ang ginawa ng Pepsi, alam nilang this is like a big problem. They offered 500 pesos dun sa mga winner. As a gesture of goodwill. Instead na 1 million. So, syempre, yung mga tao, understandably, galit na galit, di ba? So, the 349 Alliance organized protests and boycotts. Pepsi trucks were attacked and burned. At sa Maynila, may granada na para sana sa isang Pepsi truck. Ang napatay ay isang school teacher at isang 5-year-old na bata. At sa Davao naman, 3 Pepsi employees died in a warehouse bombing. So, intense yung galit, kumbaga, na ibinunsod nitong glitch na ito.
Ako, I can imagine how life-changing kasi the idea of 1 million pesos is. So, imagine marami kang utang, biglang nakuha mo yung cup, uy, mayaman na ako. The next, tapos nagdabas ka na lalo ng pera, nangako ka na, bayaran ko na. Tapos biglang, boom, mali pala, 500 pesos na. So, I could imagine yung galit ng mga tao na they were promised this life, they already started living that life, but then suddenly, boom, mali.
Galing. Na-feature din pala siya yung controversy na sa Bloomberg. Ang galing. So, kasi yung mga kaso, even dragged on until 2006. When Supreme Court finally ruled that Pepsi wasn't liable for the breach or yung problem dun sa security code. But the cultural damage was really permanent. So yung Tansan became a symbol of corporate betrayal. So for a while, yung meron pang term or phrase na 349 ka. Meaning, nagoyo ka or you're deceived.
Yeah.
So, let's take a break. Sa ating pagbabalik naman, pag-usapan natin kung ano pa yung ibang naging gamit ng Tansan sa ating kultura.
Beyond games and scandals, the Tansan holds a special place in Filipino Christmas traditions. No? Every September, when we begin the world's longest Christmas season, itong mga bottle caps na ito ay nagiging mga musical instruments.
Yes, so yung Tansan tambourine ay talagang, I think, uniquely Filipino. So, kapag nangangaroling, yung mga, sa atin kasi, yung caroling, di ba? Groups of children would go house to house. Tapos kumakanta sila ng mga Christmas songs for little aguinaldo, di ba? Mga barya usually. So, yung tambourine, ginagawa nila yan from collected tansan.
Naalala ko nun, trip din namin to yung mga rolling. Nanghingi pa ako ng maraming tansan sa ninang ko na may sari-sari store. Tapos kanta pa namin yung tuwing sasapit ang Pasko. Paulit-ulit lang namin yung kinakanta. Kumita naman kami. Ayan. So yung process nung paggawa ng mga instrument na to ay medyo ritualistic din. No? So may mga batibot episodes pa nga na meron dito. Yung tinutulungan ng tatay yung anak niya, paano gawin yung tambourine, yung tansan. Well, kung babalikan ko lang yung sa alala ko, no? Una, mangungulekta ka sa mga sari-sari store, manghihingi ka kasi wala ka namang capital dito. So, hingi ka ng marami and then tatanggalin mo yung rubber na nasa loob.
Yung lining.
Tapos hanap ka ng okay na bato. Pang flat nung tansan.
Alam mo meron akong traumatic experience pa dito sa paggawa nito kasi ang ginagamit ko noon, bida-bida ako ang ginagamit ko martilyo talaga. So, alam mo yun, parang one time, said na ang tansan na napukpok ko daliri ko. So, namuo yung dugo sa ilalim ng kuko.
Ouch.
Sobrang nostalgic lang nung idea ng paggawa ng tambourine na kasi kailangan mong i-flat yun eh. At kailangan tanggalin mo nga. Dati kasi cork, naging plastic na yung nasa loob niya, yung lining, kailangan mong tanggalin niya. So, yung ibang mga bata, they would place the caps sa sidewalk, no, sa pavement. Tapos doon nila yan bubugbugin. Doon nila ifa-flatten using heavy rocks until naging thin metal discs yan, no. And then they would punch holes through the center with a nail and then thread them using alambre, no. Na is gagawin parang bilog yan. So the result is this bright jingling percussion instrument, no? At ito yung isa sa mga soundtrack ng Filipino Christmas, no? Kasi medyo somewhat unique din yung tunog na nagagawa niya.
So meron din yung junk shop economy, no? So kasi after masira na yung mga tansan na ito, after mo laruin or after yung magamit sa pangangaroling, they could still be sold as scrap metal. So kumikita rin yung mga junk shops na bumibili nito for around 3 to 9 pesos per kilo. I don't know kung magkano before, pero
magkano na ngayon yan, no?
Hindi ganun kalaki, pero enough na yan, no? Enough para makabili ng isang lunch. Merienda.
So in a way, no, it created this dual economy. Like among children, a rare or beautiful tansan might be highly valued for play, na equivalent sa mas maraming tansan, no? But at the junk shop, all tansans were equal kasi they're valued only by weight. So yung yung favorite mong tansan, actually it's worth the same as any other piece of scrap metal. So medyo
walang fanta dito.
Yeah, rude awakening and for a child, like what?
Yes. So ang galing, no? Kumbaga tansan represented diskarte. Kumbaga, 'di ba? So ginagawa siyang musical instrument, tapos ginawang laruan, tapos pinagkakitaan, 'di ba? So it showed that, value isn't inherent in objects. Pero binubuo siya depende kung, what you think of it, right?
Yes.
Like, it's just a tansan for the junk shop, but for you, it's your valued touching loot, di ba?
Yeah.
Tapos yung isa ko pang naalala, na iconic kapag naririnig ko yung tansan, yung kanta ng Eraserheads.
Ano yan?
Ilang Eraserheads yun, di ba?
Ilang tansan pa ba ang iipunin?
Kakainin. Tapos I think yung reference sa, siguro sa Pepsi,
Or I think
Or
reference yun na
scandal.
kapag, na kapag may crush ka tapos hindi ka gusto, maglalasing ka. So in a way, maiipon yung
kasi
mga... diba?
Naiipon yung iniinom mo.
Yeah, so ilang tansan pa bang iipunin? Parang ilang beses pa ba ako maglalasing hanggang mahalin mo ko or something like that.
Yeah, so 'di ba nasa pop culture din.
Yes, bahagi talaga siya. Oo.
So ngayon nga, and today, tansan is disappearing na from Filipino streets, and with it, an entire culture built around these metal caps.
Ang main culprit dito, yung shift from glass bottles to plastic. Since 2000s kasi, no, yung mga PET plastic bottles, they have increasingly replaced the traditional glass bottles that require tansan. So, itong mga plastic bottles na to, they're lighter, they're cheaper to transport, and they don't require a deposit system.
Oo, na yun yung sistema nung glass bottle, nung usa pa yung mga glass bottle nung mga panahon na to, ano. Actually, sustainable yun eh. 'Di ba? Kasi nire-reuse yun eh. So, bibili ka ng soft drinks. Tapos, madalas, kapag bibili ako ng soft drinks, sabi ng nanay ko, bili ka family size. Or yung litro, 'di ba? Dapat pag pupunta ka sa tindahan, may bit-bit kang bote na pamalit. Kasi otherwise, magde-deposito ka. Diba? Tapos, makukuha mo lang yung deposito mo kapag ibinalik mo na yung bote. Diba? So, bottling companies collected, washed, and, sterilized these bottles. Yung nanay ko ay nagtrabaho sa Asia Brewery. Doon siya nagtrabaho for years. At nasa bottling division siya. So, yun yung ginagawa nila. So, meron daw part nung line, nung assembly line na hugas, na paghuhugas yung ginagawa. Yung nanay ko ay labeler. Diba? So, ganun yung ginagawa with glass bottles. So, sa ganun, yung ganung proseso, tansan lang yung waste product. Diba? Kasi yung bote, nire-reuse.
So, it seemed like we traded a circular economy for convenience and also lost tansan culture in the process. Hindi naman ibig sabihin na nawala yung deposit system, sabi nga ng Coca-Cola Philippines, na malaki pa rin ang share ng glass bottles. Of course, not as big as before.
Hindi ako naniniwala dyan.
Well, kasi, you know what? Yung mga bote na glass, meron pa din. Pero yung takip kasi nila, plastic na. Hindi na yung tansan. Kasi nga naman yung tansan can corrode. It's metal eh. Diba? At the same time, you need another implement to open the bottle. Unlike kapag twist cap lang, twist mo lang. Diba? So, I think malaki pa rin talaga ang share ng glass bottle. I mean, meron pa rin share yung glass bottles. No? But it's not as big as before.
Sa beer, madami pa rin.
Yeah.
Sa mga alcoholic drinks, saka glass bottle. Beer, diba? San Miguel Red Horse.
Pag bumili ka ng bucket, meron pa rin yan eh. No? Oo, pambukas yan. But yeah, in terms of games naman, no, especially in urban areas, it's kind of rare now to see children playing touching, no, or playing with bottle caps. Kasi, I mean, baka nga wala na rin gumagamit ng tansan as tambourine, eh, no, kapag Christmas season, no. Kasi ang dali namang bumili ng, like, or yung nakikita ko mga caroling kasi ngayon, nagpe-play na lang ng music sa speaker, tapos kakanta na lang sila, eh, di ba? Oo. Or sumasayaw na lang sila. So in a way, yung dating mga sidewalk games that once defined Filipino childhood are really fading memories na lang.
May mga nag-try pa rin na i-preserve yung mga games na to, ano. Pero ang interesting diyan yung touching. Na siya, parang halimbawa kung sa mga school, tinuturo na siya as part of
Philippine Games,
di ba? Na dati mga patintero, like ano ba 'yan? Agawang buko,
So alam mo na, no, kapag tinuturo niya siya sa school, hindi na siya part ng everyday culture kasi na siya eh, parang kakalungkot.
Canonize na.
Canonize na eh, oo.
Malay niyo maging digital. No, joke lang.
Digital touch.
Later, no? Yeah. Pero yun nga balik tayo dun sa usapin ng pag-transition sa plastic bottles. Maraming mga environmental groups ang nag-advocate pa rin dun sa old glass bottle system. Kasi nga naman, it worked for a long time.
Yun nga.
Diba? I mean, in terms of fighting plastic pollution. Kasi I think a few episodes ago, sabi natin, Pilipinas yung isa sa mga malaking producer ng plastic waste.
But honestly, without steady supply ng tansan, yung mga efforts na ito feel more like historical preservation than living culture na lang, no? So the younger generation might learn about touching in school, pero hindi na nila masyadong ma-experience yung culture ng pag-collect, pag-trade, no, pagpalit, and even competing with bottle caps. Or minsan pa nga may nag-aaway pa dyan, nagsusuntukan over tansan.
Oo, yeah.
Diba? So, yun lang. Hindi naman malungkot kasi gano'n naman talaga ang buhay, 'di ba? Nag-iiba-iba ang
Yeah.
trip ng mga tao. It's okay, pero yun nga, we lost that yung mga larong yun iba na din, 'di ba? Yung innovation by using tansan to create a musical instrument. It's almost like we lost a whole system of creative reuse, 'di ba? 'Di ba? Yung kultura that can find play, 'di ba? In industrial waste.
Yes.
Yung mga ganon.
So, itong journey ng Tansan from a Japanese brand name into a Filipino cultural icon, I think it shows how ordinary objects can really carry extraordinary meanings, no? Dito sa episode na to, napag-usapan natin through colonialism, war, dictatorship, democracy. Itong simple bottle cap na ito, nag-adapt siya, no? Para to serve, like different Filipino needs, whether as a toy, as an instrument, as a commodity, or even as a broken promise that sparked national outrage. Ito nga yung 349 number fever ng Pepsi. Yeah.
So next week, we're exploring another creature as the feature of Philippine rural and urban life. Something that's thrived in fields and in our cities despite countless attempts at control and are survivors of centuries of change. Wow, ano yan? Sobrang vague.
And abangan nyo yan. Oo. Interesting yan kasi I think relevant pa rin yan. Kasi marami pa rin namamatay because of
Yes,
these
lalo na ngayon. Magkakasakit na mamatay.
This,
Tama.
yes.
But for now, follow us on social media pages and visit our website, podcast.org.
So that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Until next time, and have a good day.